Assalamu everyone. In this video, we will start learning about the retirement benefit schemes. If any individual avail any of the scheme under the retirement benefit, then what will be the taxable income tax ordinance rules on these schemes? So in this video, first we will learn about the gratuity. Okay, what is actually gratuity? Gratuity is a lump sum amount at the end of your services. Typically, it is 20% of the total sum you have received throughout your um, employment, although the policy may differ from the company to company. So there are actually different types of gratuities. So under the income tax ordinance, they have distinguished these gratuities into four types. Okay. So let me explain each type individually. And okay. So the first type is the if any gratuity will be received by the government employee, then what will be the taxable treatment on the gratuity if any government receive by the government employee? Then it has been mentioned that it will be fully exempt. Okay. Now the second one is the gratuity if you can say gratuity fund approved by the commissioner. Now, who is actually commissioner? Is actually commissioner of the FVR Inland Revenue Board Revenue Department. If it is approved by the commissioner, then it will also be fully exempt. Okay, so these are very simple treatment of the first two gratuity. The third gratuity is if there are any, you can say, gratuity scheme which is approved by the board, okay, then what will be the taxable treatment? It will be exempt up to rupees 3 lakh, okay. And the fourth one is unapproved unapproved gratuity scheme. If it is not approved, not either by the board or by the commissioner, then what will be the treatment? It will be exempt up to rupees 75,000 or 50% or sorry or 50% of the amount whichever is lesser or lower. So this is the actually taxable treatment of gratuity schemes. Now, now let me explain unapproved gratuity more deeply. Let's suppose you have received unapproved gratuity that is rupees 2 lakh. Okay. Now, what will be the 50% of the gratuity? The 50% of gratuity will be rupees 1 lakh. And the second value has been given here is 75,000. All right. Here you can see exempt up to rupees 75,000 or 50% of the amount, whichever is lower. So which one is lower, either the 50% or the 75,000? Of course, 75,000 is lower than the 1 lakh. So when you subtract 75,000 from 2 lakh rupees, you have to subtract 75,000 from 2 lakh rupees, then the value will be 1 lakh 25,000. So 1 lakh 25,000 value will be taxable in the head of salary by mentioning unapproved gratuity. Okay. In another case, let's suppose if anyone have received gratuity of rupees 1 lakh, so the 50% of the gratuity will be rupees 50,000, and the second value is 75,000. So whichever is lower, rupees 50,000. So you simply subtract 50,000 and you will get the taxable amount under the head of salary by mentioning unapproved gratuity, that is rupees 50,000. So this is actually the calculation style for the unapproved gratuity. Okay. Now there are some exceptions when you cannot calculate unapproved gratuity like that. Okay, what are the exceptions here? So number one exception is that if any payment not received in Pakistan, if you have not received your unapproved gratuity in Pakistan, then your unapproved gratuity will be 100% taxable. That formula, that is 75,000 or 50% of the amount, whichever is lower, will not be applicable on the unapproved gratuity. The second one is if any payment is received, any payment received by a director who is not a regular employee of that company. Okay, now how? Actually, in each company, there's a board of director, and in the board of director, there are some regular employees, and some directors are not a regular employee, but they're independent directors. They are only visit the company for the meeting, for the decision making process, and all. So, if they are independent directors and they have received the unapproved gratuity, then they will be 100% taxable. So, make sure if you get any cases ready, then first you have to watch carefully the designation of the employee, that whether if he is directed, then whether he is a regular employee or not. If it is mentioned that he or she is a independent director, then he is not a regular employee. Then uh, you should um, you should not calculate unapproved gratuity by that formula, because otherwise you will have to uh, tax it. You will have to you will have to put the value with 100% taxable amount in your salary. Okay, now the third exception is that if any payment received by a non-resident. Now, who is actually the non-resident? I have another video in my YouTube channel. You may watch that video, that who is actually resident and who is non-resident. So, resident actually is a person who live Pakistan at least 183 days. If he is out of Pakistan of more than 183 days, then he is not a resident of Pakistan. Although he's a CNIC, he is a Pakistani nationality, but he is not a resident of Pakistan. And if in any case, if any person is not a resident of Pakistan, then he is not liable to pay tax. So in this case, it will be 100% taxable. Okay. And the fourth one is also very important. If any gratuity received by an employee who has already received any gratuity from the same other employee. Okay. Uh, I just write here any other gratuity. Okay. So if in any case, if he's receiving unapproved gratuity and also gratuity approved by the commissioner, so he's receiving actually two gratuities. So the unapproved gratuity will be 100% taxable. If he's receiving gratuity approved by the board and also unapproved gratuity, then approved by the board will be exempted by up to 3 lakh, but unapproved gratuity will be 100% taxable. So make sure you have knowledge of all these rules and regulations before calculating tax, because um, if you're not aware about these rules and regulations, then there may be the calculation of tax will not be right. Thank you so much.